I guess we in, clocked in. All right, let's make sure you guys can hear me. All right, let's bring this a little bit closer. Hey, what's going on, party people? Now, if this is your first time here, welcome. It's definitely a pleasure to have you here. I go by the name of Lespri. I am a spiritual healer. And essentially, as a spiritual healer, what I do pretty much is that I help people to become mentally and emotionally balanced. Now, the whole idea of having you or helping you to become mentally and emotionally balanced is just so that you can attain your highest level of consciousness. Because now, as we all know, I hope that you know, your emotions does have an impact on how you think. So therefore, for you to think, at your optimize, maximize, the highest state of consciousness, your emotions and your intellect must be in alignment. Meaning now at this point, now you have a bigger picture. You become whole. And the whole idea of becoming the perfect man has absolutely nothing to do with being flawless. But what this is referring to, it's a great balance of the yin and the yin. It's the masculine and the femininity in you. It's your physical and your invisible coming together. I mean, that's pretty much what you're doing. And then we're going to talk about the shadow, but I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself here, as you see in the title here. So we're going to be talking about the shadow, how pretty much, and how your shadow self through money, power, and sex. But anyway, that's the whole idea. So when we talking about, let's just say, when you hear people talk about, attaining, becoming the enlightened one, which is the highest state of consciousness, becoming the Christ-like, the Krishna, the Buddha, all of these figures, what they represent pretty much, they represent the highest. They are a manifestation or a physical manifestation of that highest state of consciousness. That's all that is. So as a spiritual healer, that's what I do. And that's what I help you do or becoming. Now, why is it important now to have your emotions and your intellect coming together? Because now you have a bigger picture. See, if you only operate from your intellect and you are suppressing your emotions, then that's when, toxicity comes in. There's going to be a war. And your shadow, which I will be talking about, that's when your shadow, in fact, because ultimately, a lot of people, this is what a lot of people don't understand. Your true development, your true learning is going to come from your emotions. It does not come from your intellect. Attaining a higher level of understanding or that aha moment, it's mostly done through your intuition. Then you realize something or that realization. Usually it's done through that non-conscious aspect of yourself. That's why people meditate. That's why you do your mantras. But you got to understand what you're doing because ultimately what you're truly doing, what the fuck? What you're truly doing, it's trying to open up yourself, becoming more receptive to a higher level of understanding. So when you suppress the emotions, let's just say your ideal is to be like, okay, your intellect, because your emotions by itself mislead you, because that's what I hear most of the time, which is true, which is absolutely true. But you're not making it better by suppressing it. Because now what you're truly doing now when you become strictly intellect, you become rigid, you become one-sided. You don't see it from all perspective. You see it from only a logical perspective, and which is a fucking it's crazy because life in itself, logic is just part of it. We deal with a whole lot around us than just logic. So therefore, you are missing the point. I hope you get what I'm trying to say. So the idea of your intellect is greater than your emotions is bullshit. It's ignorance. It's pure ignorance. That's why you have your philosophers. Your philosophers are not spirit. I mean, we are all spirit, but they're not like that. I mean, it's not a level of enlightenment. And those two must become together for you to actually see the bigger picture and have a broader perspective to attain, or becoming the Christ like or your highest state of consciousness. So, what I'm talking about, let's just say, being emotionally balanced. Now, what I help you to do is for you to understand your emotions. How does your emotions work? And for you to identify your emotional pattern. In the occult, there's a term that we use. It's say you have to heal your wounded child, meaning those early emotions that you had. And here's something else too. Those emotions shape your life. While you saying your intellect is greater than your fucking emotions, a lot of people, right? That's why you have to become one with your emotion. You at least gotta acknowledge it. If you reject it, I mean that's what toxic people do. And for you to becoming more healthy or more whole, that's when you do what is called your shadow work, but dealing with those early emotions. So again, these emotions are energy, and those energies, there's intelligence, there's messages. That's how when you go through certain emotions, it shape your intellect a certain way. Like for myself as a spiritual healer, medium, and also psychic, like I know how to tap into energies. And what that person energy is telling you is just a message. It's telling you about the person telling you about who they are. That's why they always tell you too. The best way to know somebody is to find them. But finding them meaning you would have to go beyond. It's to tap into their fucking energy, pretty much. But it's going beyond their physical self. I mean, you could see it, image right in front of you, but that's not who they are. I mean, it's part of who they are, but there's a lot more to them. So when you find somebody, you get to know somebody. So you're dealing with that shadow aspect of that person. So that's why doing your shadow work is important because your shadow work is yourself. Okay, let me rephrase that. Your shadow self is not the conscious part of yourself, meaning it's not the intellect, it's not the mental, it's not the part that you are conscious of, but it's part of you because, just like you have a conscious mind and a subconscious mind, the sub, which is under the mind, I mean, there's something, yeah, I mean, that's what we're calling the spirit part of you. There's the shadow in there, your ego is in there. Well, yeah, let's just say it's in there for now. The ego and all that shit, your shadow, that's the part you got to deal with. And that's your, so many words, if you want to say your true self. And that's that truth. When you understand that part about you, that's what sets you free. Meaning now you are able to look at yourself beyond dick and pussy. That's when now some motherfuckers would say, I'm energy, y'all. Even a nigga like me calling myself Lespri. It simply means spirit. And to find the eternal life is to identify yourself with that part of you then now you understand you are your body and more. That's when at this point, like they say in the Bible, oh, death, where's your victory? And again, all this is talking about your ordinary life, you having a deeper understanding of what your ordinary life is here. The Indian call this world, the world that we're living in, Maya, which means illusion. A lot of people, they have different definition of what illusion is. They say it's fake, it doesn't exist. It's none of that. Oh, it fucking exists. That's why you could get stuck here. It exists. You make it real because it's you. You are the creator. You are God. I mean, whether you know it or not. Let's not go that far. I just don't want to scare you. All right, I'm not going to scare you off. Let's just say there's more to you than just your physical appearances. And when you do say, "I know somebody," what you're truly referring to is their character, their personality. I mean, that's what you know. I mean, obviously, I mean, you know what their eyes look like, their hair, and shit like that. So again, even in our language, we're giving up our very essence. And that's what makes this a fucking illusion because it's not what you appear to be. Not because it doesn't exist. This shit is real as fuck. It's you make it real. And that's why our ancestors and ascending masters, that's why they helping us to reconnect. That's how real this shit is. Otherwise, why would we even be here talking about this shit? What the fuck? Shit is real as fuck. Now, it's not what it seems like, though. And that's what I'm trying to help you to understand, just like my ancestors did, and all of us is to help you. Now, that's how, in a fancy way of saying this, is now you're able to look to see shit beyond the veil. But that has to do with you having a deeper understanding of your ordinary reality. And without me getting too much ahead of myself here, because I'm going to be talking about spirituality, and it's just that's why your spirituality is your humanity. And now, when you truly get to really dissect your humanity, then you realize, nigga, I'm spirit. That's why the ascended ones or the true masters, we were never concerned. We know we're eternal. When you're looking at life from that perspective, it's shit. You have already transcended. I mean, it's the truth though. When you know it, you understand what the fucking illusion is. But anyway, going back to again, because ultimately, I mean, I want you to see the bigger picture. That's what we're doing here. And again, and we're doing that by dissecting the ordinary reality that you're looking at right now. Even if you try to understand your own nature, then you understand that you are a living being, a living thing. Changing your thoughts will change your life, having a greater understanding, you change your reality. I mean, we are natural manifestors. Let that sink in. That is sink in, baby. So you know who you are. But that understanding, that's when, the level of consciousness comes in. That's when, what I'm saying, you open up your third eye, you're doing your chakra work, I mean, and doing your shadow self, which we're going to be talking about. That's when all that shit comes in. But ultimately, it's for you to do that. because what you're doing, you are becoming a receptive, or you're becoming a better receptive to light, to the reality around you, and that's how you accumulate more consciousness. You become the enlightened one. That's what the occult is, man. It's your regular life, nigga. Anyway, now going back to your emotions, I mean, that's what you're dealing with. Now, in addition to your emotions, for you to become mentally balanced, you have to understand how your own mind works. How were you trained to think? So you got to be aware of all this shit for you to have control over your own mind, because your mind's been controlled in so many different ways. It's been shaped and conditioned by so many different factors in this life. So you have to understand all of that. That's why you have to become more aware. So you got to be aware of your society, baby. That's part of that. Otherwise, how much conscious would you be to be in the world and not of the world? That's what that means. How more I mean, that's to be real conscious of it. That's why I always tell people your humanity is your fucking spirituality. Now, depending on your level of consciousness, then you could either, you know, that's pretty much what it comes down to. Now, if you coming back, you already know, damn, 16 minutes in, you already know because we got some shit to talk about. Niggas, you already know, baby. It's nothing but love. I always got to act out for you niggas, but let's delve into it. So, in part one, what we're going to be talking about tonight, ooh, I'm going to talk about spirituality briefly, but we're going to be talking about the shadow self through sex, money, and power. So, I had part one. Strongly recommend that you guys check it out because I laid down a lot of shit. I talked about a lot of shit that would allow you to build, on what we're going to be talking about now. But anyway, real quick, spirituality is your regular life. It's just like I was talking about before, trying to give you a breakdown of your emotions. Again, this is all your ordinary life. Now, some of the biggest misconception is for you to think, you're not a spirit because due to ignorance, your level of consciousness, you only identify yourself with dick and pussy. And if you even looking at some of the brightest people, like let's just say in this fucking world, like there's a little more than that. Now, but even for you to grow as a person, you got to go beyond a little bit of dick and pussy, man. There's got to be something else. I mean, something more to it. Not something else, but it's got to be more. I mean, we're not saying nothing bad about dick and pussy, but it cannot be just be that. Money and greed and all. Come on, man. Just that. That's where ignorance comes in. And just like I was talking about, to become mentally balanced, you have to understand how your mind is being conditioned as part of you becoming conscious as well. You got to understand the science of ignorance. In other words, you got to understand how stupid you used to be, so that I mean that's why you're no longer stupid. You can only know how stupid you used to be when you're no longer stupid. So therefore, you have mastered the art of stupid, or the art of stupidity, for lack of better terms. I mean, I have yet to met anybody who grown or who elevated in life, and if you don't have a story, nigga, you ain't got nothing. I'm a story myself. I got so many stories. I became a story myself. Shit. My whole fucking life is a story. But that's how we ride on our enemies. Anyway, hey, this is for my niggas who are coming back, baby. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I always got to do something for you, baby. The appreciation. You know what we do here. Okay. Mm. Now, going back to spirituality, It's your regular life. Now, in spirituality, now we have something called the occult, those sacred texts, right? You have the Sufis, you have Gnostics, you have all of those different disciplines, right? But all of that doing is giving you a deeper understanding of your ordinary reality. That's why you'll see some of the most basic occult shit that you would learn, depending on where you at. You want to do this work for yourself, or let's just say you are on your journey to self, right? And then now you understand, you know what? You have conscious mind and then you have a subconscious mind. Ooh. Do you see what I'm saying? And what this is telling you is trying to get you to be a little more sensitive to the other part of you that is not visible because they understand what you don't see. It's truly what's ruling what you see. Because you don't see your understanding, you don't see your emotions, right? But your life, it's that's what your life is. It's all about. That's why you are spirit. That's why your true nature is spirit. So spirituality is telling your story. Now it's being said in many different cultures, languages, but ultimately, it embodies everything, even your misunderstanding of what that is too. Then now you have religion. Like I am a religious man, not in the common sense, because the common sense we tend to look at religion as, let's just say, a way of thinking, right? But in reality, what religion really means, it's making the divinity in the human form. In other words, it's to acknowledge the God in you, in your physical self. It's to see the God in your physical self. God damn it. That's what it is. Another way of saying that is to go beyond your physical body. It's being said in so many different ways. It didn't say to reject your, nah, it goes beyond it. So you let humanity be, dog. You just go beyond it. Meaning now you having a deeper understanding. And that's what the occult does as part of spirituality that help you to do that kind of shit. That's what you're doing. Now let's get into the shadow. Now this is gonna be part two. I have part one. I strongly recommend you guys check it out. Like again, like I said, there was a bunch of shit that I talked about, and in that part one. Now let's get right into the shadow. A brief description of what the shadow is, right? I think I had mentioned that before, but or just now, right? Is it's not your conscious self, but it's part of you. When you're not in alignment with your conscious self, you're not in alignment with your shadow self. And the same thing can also be said for your ego. Because you have to understand your ego, these are your protectors. They are there to take your orders. What would you like your ego to do for you, my friend? Please let me know. Same thing with your shadow. What would you like your shadow? I mean, you want to be in harmony with your shadow. You want to be in great relationship with your ego. You don't suppress your ego. Who does that? Nobody does that. You change the quality of information in you, and that will automatically change your ego. Your ego goes as far as you go. It's sad to say, but if you're a stupid motherfucker, you're gonna have a stupid ego. because your ego has to protect you. That's why the most insecure person is going to be the loudest person. They're going to make the biggest noise because, it's the ego is protecting them now because that's the level that they are at. But when you start growing mentally, your ego now is chilling. You giving yo take give your ego a break, nigga. Set the nigga free. Let the nigga help you. Let him do his true work for you. My ego is my protector. Let him work for you, man. He's begging you. The fuck? You know what I'm saying? You can't see him by suppressing your ego. So now when you're dealing with your shadow self, because if you're not in alignment, in alignment with your true self, because when you look, okay, so let me rewind the selector real quick, right? Let's talk a little bit about our society. We're living in a society pretty much where a lot of people are living their life based on who they should be, meaning not your true self. Then now you create a persona for you to live by. Now the shadow self, which is part of your true self, now is going to be conflicted with that persona. That's when people are being triggered because the shadow that's when you have that internal battle between yourself without you even knowing. When you see toxic people who are being triggered, that's what's taking place. Now, on the outside, a lot of us like to say people don't take accountability. That is true. I'm not taking that away, but understand there's something more that's taking place here. It's not just them not taking accountability. I mean, yes, I mean, I'm not denying that fact either, but do we understand why? When you're living through a fucking persona, accountability for what? It wasn't you. What are you talking about? What are you talking? You see what I'm saying? Because you're not in touch with you. That's why most people do not take accountability. I mean, you could judge them if you like, but for me, when I understand that, now I have compassion. I have compassion like a motherfucker. And they will even tell you, like, I don't know, it wasn't me. Like, what are you talking about? That's not me. Like, I always tell people that story, right? I used to know this hoe. Like, nah, yeah, I fuck a lot of niggas. So what? Like, I'm not a hoe. Do you know what a hoe does? No, such and such is a hoe. No. But their shadow self, they can't see it in themselves because they're not in touch with who they are. That's what sleepwalking is. A lot of us, if you want to identify with the zombie aspect of you, you're not conscious of your true nature. So you are operating not just from the persona, but with a conflicted shadow self too. So now, when your shadow is conflicted as such, then it's projecting itself in so many different aspects in your life, in your ordinary life. One of the ways you wouldn't take accountability, you're not even you don't even know what's taking place because now your shadow, not your conscious self, is taking over you. That's what the monsters comes in. A lot of like what you call criminals, they operate from that conflicted shadow. Maybe they were raped as a fucking kid, whatever the fuck, or they were killing fucking animals and they felt good about it. That's what this shit is showing you. This is you're dealing with your fucking shadow self. a conflicted shadow, for lack of a better term. I just want to put that term next to it just so you kind of see what I'm trying to tell you or the picture I'm trying to paint for you to actually understand. Then now you have a society, let's just say, niggas say, can love pay my bills? Now money becomes more, has more, it become more, has more values than love. But it's truly, a, it's truly your shadow that's really saying talking here. That's why our culture, I mean, it's came, it's based out of a toxic. It's very toxic because we don't acknowledge the self. Due to a lot of us not, or our parents who didn't do their shadow self, I mean, work. Now you had to deal with their shadow, and now your shadow automatically picks up on that, then you become that. So now you're using money, you know what I'm saying, to trying to, that's why you'll never be happy too. Because what you're using, it's like, man, I mean, it has nothing to do with it. What the fuck, as you say, when you say love don't pay your bills? Do you drink water? Do you breathe air? Does any of that pay your bills? But yet you're using that to minimize it because of your hurt. Now, the shadow is expressing itself through, through that too. And you can never catch your shadow. You have a cat and mouse relationship. But when you start aligning yourself with yourself, now your shadow's coming. Now, come on, man. You got to give him a break. And your ego too. Your ego is your protector, my dude. You know what I'm saying? Your ego is what, you know what I'm saying? Let me stop. I'm wilding. I'm wilding. But anyway, you know what I'm saying? What would you like me to do for you, sir? There you go. On a regular basis. Do you see what I'm saying? And a lot of us, that's why I always tell people that's why you need to eat from the tree of life, the true knowledge, the knowledge that sets you free. You embrace every namaste. That's the knowledge you need. Now I see the spirit in you, even when you don't even acknowledge it yourself. It's okay. I got you. You know what I'm saying? That's why we speak what we say leaves a fucking eternity. What our ancestors said, what I'm saying here, which is a continuation of what they said, that's why they give us the baton, right? So what I say will live a fucking eternity. You until you wake up to it. I mean, it doesn't have to be repeated the way I said it, but the understanding, I hope you get it. Hope you get it. The manuals are forever. The truth is all around you. You just got to wake up to it. So now, because you have a conflicted fucking shadow, keyword conflicted shadow, then now in your speech now, you're becoming toxic. Now, that's the world. Now you created a world where, you know what I'm saying, because you are the creator. And that's what the matrix is. Society has created a different world. Like it's competitive. It's all that shit. I mean, if you subscribe to that, well, good luck. That's how they just rocking you to sleep, baby. They got you in the crib. You're in the crib. So when you're not in touch with your shadow self, so again, we're dealing like how you say like some such and such might be. There's a lot of crazy people out there. Even if you want to say a lot of stupid people, depending on whatever verbiage you want to use, you're dealing. That's what you're dealing with shadow. A lot of shadows. Again, this world is not what it appears to be. But most importantly, as you're doing your shadow work, that's why it's important for you to become in alignment with yourself. But I'm also showing you the way you got to understand the shadow too, because it permeates in all different aspects of your life, in your relationship, when you're not, when you have a conflicted one, as well as when you have a healthy one too. I mean, you are who you are. Like the soul's gonna express itself regardless. Now you could do it the good way, you could do it the painful way. That's when you're dealing with karma now. All karma is doing is giving you that realignment. But depending on your level of consciousness, karma could be a bitch. You did it to yourself. That's all karma's teaching you. You did it to yourself. You're doing it to yourself. Realign. But again, depending on your level of consciousness, your definition of karma, like, shit, that's my nigga. I give out karmas to niggas. Oh, yeah, you're going to get your karma over here. You're going to get your karma right here. That's what makes us the equalizer. That's what justice is. We bring justice, which is you truly being in alignment with you. And when you in that frequency, that's how you're giving out justice to niggas. Oh man. Oh man, I got the gospel here, man. You go tell them what you see over here, man. Tell them the things that you're hearing over here. Please do, by all means. Good or bad, nigga. You know what I'm saying? But when you get to see it, though, hey, it is what it is. But anyway, going back to the shadow, your shadow, again, is part of you. That's why you want, African spirituality is based on ma'at, which is balance, the yang and the yin, mind, body, and soul. That's how you transcend. In other words, it's again, it's to materialize your divinity. This is not something to talk about. Let's say, it's for the living. You got to have a direct experience with this shit. That's how you grow. That's how you attain those different level of consciousness. It's got to be a direct experience. A fancy way of saying that, the words got to be made flesh. or being born again. It goes, I mean, it's being said in so many different ways and levels too. But ultimately, that's what this is really talking about. So as you're doing your shadow self or your shadow work, my bad, it's important for you to, I'm trying to get you to see the ignorance of the shadow so so you can master it. And this is how, like we always say, a light worker, you got to walk on both sides. If you're dealing with spirit, you got to deal with good spirit. You got to be what you want to call bad spirit. I fuck with them all. Yes, sir. Fuck with them all. You know what I'm saying? But what this is truly saying in terms of your shadow is that you also have to understand how your shadow work. And by you understanding how I was working, so by me show telling you, oh, can money can love pay my bills? Is a It's a perfect depiction of that shadow that the shadow self that is, what I'm saying, or your ego, however the fuck you want, or your, I mean, it's a direct representation of, let's just say, for lack of better terms, of your shadow self expressing itself, the conflicted shadow. Because even if I were to tell anybody, right? Okay, let's just say a person were to say that, and I was have to tell them, um, I mean, it's not like you're thinking money is more valuable than love. Truly, what you're truly saying is, I can't get it, so I'm gonna make money the substitution of that, of disappointment, out of fear. You know what I'm saying? You didn't Your emotions, that's what you got out of it. You got the wrong message. You got a message, but not the ultimate message. And you don't even understand that's what's taking place in you, because that's what you will say. You would even say, can love pay your bills? The reality is you're talking about pineapple and mango. Payaya, fucking, you talking about grapes and fucking watermelon, tomatoes with fucking, I don't know, like butternut squash. Like, what the fuck? You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, we all could say it for love, but you wouldn't say it for, let's just say, can air pay your bills? You wouldn't say that. You wouldn't even dare to say that, because you were not hurt by the fucking air. So you see what I'm saying? And this is also how your emotions, or a lack of that acknowledgement, your shadows is expressing itself to you. It's crying out for help. But also you are reacting that way, but it's really because of insanity due to ignorance. Then now the conflicted shadow, but it's really crying out for help. Help me. Help. Chucky, help me. Little crying baby. And even through fucking sex too. You know what I'm saying? Even when okay, let's look at our culture, right? even courting, dating. It's domination. It's the war between the sexes. And that is toxic. It became as a mind game because nobody wants to be hurt. You're looking for domination. And the crazy shit is you see motherfuckers that got hurt. Now they're being trained by their dating coach to become the very first thing that they were hurt by. That shit is crazy. And that's what I see. And that's what you see a lot of bitch niggas are doing. Or bitches. Oh, that's what makes this shit toxic. Because it's not you're not healed. Now you're learning how to have domination over somebody else. Because you weak. You're a little bitch. Now your shadow has taken over you. And is crying out for help at the same time. But it's being said in all different levels. I want you to see it in different perspective too. You know what I'm saying? Or even, or even having sex as you're using it, as a domination type of thing due to your conflicted shadow. And you do the same shit with power too, because your definition of power, is to have control over somebody else. Well, power simply means having the ability to do something. See, this is power right here. What you're calling domination power. So therefore, out of a toxicity, out of a lack of, out of a conflicted shadow. So doing your shadow work is very important, but that's why I'm also trying to talk to you about it in different aspect. Because when your shadow's acting, it's almost like you went silent. That's when you become in denial. That's really what's taking place when people are not taking accountability because their shadow had done take over and they don't even know what the fuck happened. That's why you see a lot of these motherfuckers, they have regrets. It's always after they done some shit, then they just come to, well, when this shit don't work. But you gotta understand they're all operating from their shadow. The shadow don't give a fuck. That's the monster. That's the criminal. A lot of the criminals that we see, people that are shooting people, that's what you're dealing with. That's their shadow self. Their conflicted shadow. Motherfuckers going through so much shit. Fuck it, man. I'm gonna end this shit. Motherfuckers possessed. Insanity. So your only sanity is when you become in alignment with your shadow. The whole idea of you doing your shadow work is to align yourself with your shadow. Because when you're not in alignment with your shadow, like there's a conflict, there's a great conflict between you and your shadow. That's when you don't even identify when the shadow's acting. Like if I were to ask, like, do you think that person who's saying, let's just say, can love pay my bills? They think they're operating from toxicity? You think so? I mean, do you think so? No, I don't think so. Like I only could say that now because I have transcended that. And anybody else or even yourself watching this, you can only relate to it if you have also transcend that. Or at least I'm allowing you to acknowledge it because that's what I'm doing here. I'm reflecting that to you. So if you can see it as I'm reflecting it to you, well, good job, motherfucker. Shit, you better pat yourself in the back, nigga. Real shit. That was the realest shit I ever said, nigga. Thing I said is real, nigga. So again, hold up me. Saying, 'cause this shit's kicking, man. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So your shadow self, the conflicted shadow, you don't acknowledge it. I mean, that's where the fucking the whole chaos comes in because there's no harmony because you're not identify yourself to yourself. That would allow you to see the shadow. You're operating based on that persona, and the shadow is pretty much crying out for help. You got to express like your emotions. You're gonna express your emotions one way or another. It's being expressed. Now you have a healthy way, you have an unhealthy way. That's pretty much what it comes down to. That's why your nature in itself is love. And when I'm talking about love, I'm talking about is you open up naturally. Even when we're talking about a relationship, a lot of people, the goal of a relationship is not marriage, motherfucker. And here's another misconception. It's for you to find to have that intimacy and to be vulnerable in so many words. In other words, love. Then now you want to go get married, you go, hey, whatever the fuck. That's the goal of a fucking relationship, man. How you relating and you being the best version of yourself. And marriage has nothing to do with love, bro. Again, but we're in a culture. It's a Cinderella story. You love, you go get married, and so many. That's why Eddie Murphy was trying to tell you niggas too. You know what I'm saying? Get a prenup because that shit got nothing to do with love. If shit don't work out, now this is a whole different ball game. See, that's why, and that's what Jesus was saying too. If you can't really see what's in front of you, like, damn. That's why it's important for you to have a deeper understanding of becoming more aware of your environment because it's all plays a part of you. It all contribute to your thinking, to your emotions. It's all it's all in you, even if it appears from the outside, but you are interacting with it. You are internalizing everything that you. I mean, that's your nature. You internalize shit. Know how you do it. Now it depends on your level of consciousness, and that's what you're trying to do when you're doing your shadow self. You're trying to internalize what you internalized back in having a broader perspective of that to heal that wounded child, to give it a greater perspective, embrace it, bring it to the table. Nigga, come here, man. Come give me a hug. You know what I'm saying? Because your nature is love any fucking way. You're going to express yourself. And everybody does. Now, you could just simply sit down and have a conversation, or you could throw shit around. Either way, it's you're going to do it. But throwing shit around just doesn't work because although you're expressing yourself, you're not truly expressing yourself. It's being expressed because I mean it has to be expressed, but it's not in a way that you could build from. It's not you're not healed, you're not being you at your best. It's conflicted, it's conflict. That's why you do your shadow work. And that's why it's also important for you to understand that the shadow work manifests itself in so many different aspects of yourself. Through your parents, you're dealing with these motherfucking shadow self. You know what I'm saying? Like, remember when I was telling you guys I'm a story, like I'm just like that's how I was raised, man, by a fucking narc mother. This is all facts, man. It's almost like can you imagine like when you have you have a stupid mother, right? So now the only way for them to feel smart is through you. And that's what your kids are dealing with. Yeah. It's almost like, you know what I'm saying? Now you gotta raise the nigga. But I thought I was the kid here. Listen, man, like shit. I mean, this is come on, man. My shadow and I, we shit, we have to work together real quick. If not, none of us would have survived. And when you have a conflicted shadow, you know what I'm saying? That's your own destruction. That's self-destruction. You're not in harmony. Your heart can never be and will never be as light as a feather. Fuck out of here. How? There's no harmony. You know what I'm saying? Shit. Tell Nubis nigga, I'm the scale nigga. I tell Anubis, nigga, you gotta you go through me. I'm the scale. Fuck about like waiting nothing. You come through me, motherfucker. So I'll show you how to get your light. I mean, your heart as light as a feather. Why do you think that is? Listen, man, when you do the work, it's beautiful. Find your treasure, baby. I mean, that's why I'm here. I'm here to help you find them or find it, however you want to look at it. Whatever you, I mean, ultimately, however you define it, but it's your higher self and your lower self. They got to come together. And this is you being your best version. Oh, this is the gods walking among men. You know what I'm saying? Oh, this is you being sane. This is you being healed. This is you. This is perfection. Not flawless, but you become whole. Come on, man. Like that's when nigga. Come on, man. You know what I'm saying? Going back to the old parent shit, you know what I'm saying? It got to a point where motherfuckers want to kill me. Real shit. Niggas want to stick me for my paper. They try they sold me, man. You see what I'm saying? I'm Job. I'm the Job story. That they all turn on me for money. But like Job though. You know what I'm saying? I'm the real deal. They didn't know that. The real deal Holyfield. You know? But they didn't know that. Again, when you understand that, now I'm able to use the Bible story to let you know this is all, I mean, this is your life. It is said like we came among, you know what I'm saying? The darkness, man. The darkness didn't accept us because they were not made out of the light. We get it. We understand it. Understand? You cannot stop the shine, baby. But I'm saying all of that. Well, I'm talking my shit too, but just so you guys know, I mean, a lot of us are going through. I mean, not be as extreme as mine. That's what we're all dealing with. And I'm trying to get you to see it from that perspective because that is the deepest perspective of looking at it in terms of your nature. Because you're truly dealing with other people's shadow. You're living, this is a spiritual world, but it's not what it looks like. Don't go by what it looks like. You're going to get lost. Even if in a fucking relationship, you're dealing with, whoever, let's just say you're dealing with their father, their mother, you're dealing with all that shit. Because whoever you're dealing with is a living thinking. So is you. That's why it's important even for you to find love. You know what I'm saying? Or when two people fall in love, they both have done their shadow work. This is not domination over here, baby. You playing a losing game. This is a living experience. True fucking love. Why the fuck not? Nigga, if you're gonna be nigga, shit. Yo, this bitch, I'ma love you, baby. You know what I'm saying? I fucking love your ass, bitch. Straight like that. Nigga. I gotta find me Trinity, baby. It's gotta be Trinity. I'm in love with that bitch. Oh, man. Yo, Trinity had this thing, this line. Oh, that shit always give me chills. I'm like, I need a bitch like that. Yo, this nigga, yo, Trinity, are you sure? You know what I'm saying? You're gonna go back in there because you only have 5 minutes. This bitch said in 5 minutes, I'll tear the whole fucking building down. Woo! I'm like, oh, that's orgasm for me right there. I'm fucking Trinity. I'm fucking the shit out of you, bitch. I'm fucking the shit out of you. So you tell me you rather play games than have something like that? What? Man, how do you do that now? You know what I'm saying? I don't know, man. I gotta make it count. Gotta make it count. How else would it be counted? How else would it be? I mean, how else would it count if you don't make it count? I don't know, man. I don't know. But Trinity's getting fucked, baby. That's all I know. Or even that girl in fucking 300. Oh, we gonna talk some shit. This bitch told that nigga, listen, man, Spartans. Can't recall how she said it. You know what I'm saying? Knowing that what's gonna happen, nigga, you be a man no matter what. Come on now. Man, that's a bitch support making you. Come on, man. Listen, what game are you guys playing out there, man? What are you doing to yourself? I don't know. It can't be me. Can't be me. Cannot be me. I'm sorry. It can't be me. Shit, I'd rather be single for the rest of my life, nigga. It can't be me. Can't be me. And on top of, I find them too. So you gotta understand that this relationship we having too. Can't be me, man. Come on, man. What are we doing? What are we doing? Yeah, I know what you do. I know what I'm doing though. Anyway, let's go back. But yeah, let's talk about that real quick. I think it was the shield. I don't remember how she said it. You know what I'm saying? You come back with it or without it, however the fuck. Either your heart on it, but there was some shit like the bottom line was like, come on, man. That alignment, that support. It was not like, nigga, you know you got a son and shit. You know what I'm saying? Fuck that shit, man. That bitch could have been like, yo, nigga, you know what, man? You know you got a son, nigga. You know what I'm saying? Or let's just flee, nigga. I mean, there's an ecstasy in life, once you attain that level of consciousness. It's I call it, that's your beauty, that's your treasure. Once you, like, for me, I'll sell everything else just for that. And I hat naked, walking this shit. I don't want to I don't want to listen. I will no longer disappoint myself, nigga. I'm taking that to the grave. And I never really did either. I'm just getting better at it. To be honest, I'm just being honest. That's how we ride on our enemies. I'm saying, come on, man. Something all the better on. Find it. Give me a second. I'm still good. Nigga, I'm still good. You know what I'm saying? Shit. All right. I just had to try myself real quick. Nigga. Try myself a little bit. I do that all. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Fuck are we doing? Anyway, as part of doing your shadow self or shadow work, say, it's important for you, to understand how the shadow operates. And what I'm doing here is trying to show you how, through different, not portals, but different aspect of your life, or portals, but let's just simplify this shit. Different aspect of your life, the conflicted shadow is going to reveal itself. And it's always going to be a conflict because now, you're not conscious of what's taking place. That's why so many people are in denial. Excuse me. You know what I'm saying? Because they're living like, who's I? Like, that's why if you don't love yourself, you cannot love somebody else. Now, since I mentioned that, I'll take, and I love talking about that shit too, because it was funny. I was having a conversation with someone, right? And I was telling her how, my listen, man, it's almost like before when I used to hear that fucking expression, and I was like, okay, that shit again. Because I didn't quite understand. I thought I was looking at it from a selfish perspective. And I realized a lot of people, due to ignorance, look at it the way I used to look at it. So I always take the time to make sure that you understand it because I had to understand it myself. Because self love and selfish are two different things. When you're dealing with selfish, you're dealing with someone who's concerned with only the external aspect. Meaning, if I'm all about my money, I'm gonna get my money however the fuck I got my money. It's how I get my money. That's why someone who's selfish will step on anybody's toes because they're only concerned with that external shit. That's why I always say you are worshiping idols and you don't take other people's feeling into consideration. You're not going to do that. That's why you cannot love somebody else. Well, what can somebody do for you? Now that's different. Now this is what you're a lot concerned with, and a lot of times these people came from the background where they were disappointed. Again, the shadow self. That wounded child now had created a whole different reality. They're living in the abyss. They become Chuckies. Oh, I tap into those fucking criminal minds, man. A bunch of babies, pussies too. They're probably peeing in bed. Real shit. That's what these motherfuckers are. Now, the longer you master that, the more criminal you become, the more harder you become, the more heartless you become too. And that's how a lot of people are operating. Now their shadow has done taken over themselves. They are encaged. Their true self is encaged. Now in spirituality, and if you want to use the esoteric term, now you gotta slay that master or that dragon or that monster. You're gonna have to face that monster, which is truly your shadow self, the conflicted shadow, but that has taken over your body because you technically became possessed. Now you're not having a healthy, you're not in harmony. And that's what you're dealing with around you. Now, a lot of people are on a different level of that shit. You never hear like when they say, like, what I'm saying? Some people, everybody want to see good for you. They just don't want you to be better than them. That's when their egos start being triggered. Why do you think they talk about haters? They pulling you back. We don't want you to be better than us. What are you doing? Well, that's the family I came from. And pulling you down means pulling you all the way down, 6 feet deep too, if they have to. That's how your light now becomes a threat to their darkness, to their shadow. They don't want to see the light. They're hiding from the light. That's what you're seeing in the vampire shit. They sucking on your blood, your energy, because they need that energy for them to survive because they're not open up to them. I mean, they're not open up, they're not open to who they are. You are the source of that energy, but because you closed off, you getting it out of other people. That's what they're doing. That's why when you become in touch with yourself, you're becoming the lotus, right? That comes out of that mud. You blossoming, you opening up, you become the bud and all that shit. I mean, you become open to the light that is inside of you. But theirs is closed off. Then they got to get the light from other people. That's what your energy vampires, your knock, all of these motherfuckers. That's what they are. Oh, you're dealing with conflicted shadows, criminals, depending on the level, but they are all potentially criminals because they are all insane. All you got to do is push them to the edge, and then you'll see. That's why in the Matrix, the nigga was telling you if you're not conscious, you are potentially a fucking agent. And that's when you're gonna realize when you start doing things differently or start becoming the light, wherever the fuck you at, and there's a certain vibration that it comes with, you cannot stay there. For you to grow, for you to become that light, you know what I'm saying? Because the darkness will not receive it. This is a direct experience. This is your living mind. This is spirituality. This is your story. The Job story is my story, is your story too. You know what I'm saying? Even when you hear the rappers are telling you, man, you know what I'm saying? I can't go back in the hood, man. These niggas, yeah, all that shit. Because you're dealing with nigga shadows. It's not just the rappers. This is just it's the reality, motherfuckers. I'm saying? I'm just saying rappers because maybe you could relate to that more. Or we hear it all the time. No shit. I'm just trying to tell your ordinary shit. This is what it is. That's what you're dealing with. Ignorance. And your energy vampires or conflicted shadows. Then at that point, their shadow self has taken over. They operate from their shadow purely. I mean, there's no form of conflicted shadow, I should say. So it permeates through all aspect of your life, through your parents, your relationship. If you have not done the work, then now you're looking to dominate. You're not truly loving somebody. You're not. You're using their energy. You're abusing whatever the fuck. All of that derived from that. You can't really open up to love. Now you're deceiving others, and which is normal. I mean, because you're already deceiving yourself. Of course, you'll deceive other people because you've been trained to be a deceiver. The minute you betrayed yourself, the minute you betrayed yourself, not acknowledging your feelings, not following, what I'm saying, what you love, your passion, it's all of that. It's part of the alignment. That's what's gonna get you to your highest level of consciousness. That's why they call it a journey. So the journey, it's you literally putting yourself together, putting all of those different aspects of you putting all that shit together, finding your passion that will open up other doors and you grow. That's what Chris Rock was saying. I hope you motherfuckers find a career. And I understand exactly what he's talking about. He's the growth. That's why I always tell people, and I noticed that too. You see the comedians and the rappers, they hang out together. I get it. And I see it with the priest too. The priest and the artist. And when I'm talking about artists, all type of fucking artists, musicians, whatever the fuck. I relate to fucking musicians. I love music too. Because they grow over time with their creation. And I do the same with the knowledge. That's how I was able to attain the Christ consciousness because I had that direct experience with it, just like the artist does in his art or whatever the fuck he's projecting, he's writing down, or he's giving out to the public. I mean, he's transforming. He knows what it takes, the imagination, the creation. I mean, that's what that whole growth is all about. That's why you even see in the fucking we have Veve in voodoo, where these niggas in Buddhism, voodoo might be too strong for you. In Buddhism, they have those. What is it called? I can't recall. It's not very, but it's all the same shit. All the same shit. The artist, I mean, is it the whatever the fuck? But there's a lot of artistic shit that they do. You know what I'm saying? Same shit we do. I'm trying to tell. Listen, it doesn't get any obvious than that, man. But when you know, you know. I get it. And that's what the shit comes down to. That's why the name of the game is consciousness, baby. It's you. You got to know who you are. And when you do, no one has to tell you who you are. How about that? How about them apples? Huh? That internal peace. You know, I can talk about that all day. It's to live for. It's to die for too. Whatever it takes. Because when you're in connection with it, when you connect with it, that's what you cannot. That's your true ecstasy. You can't let it go. You have transcended time, and that's what you see when Jesus. These niggas were dying for the Christ. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is for me. What do you think the shit is? Come on, man. Listen, man. We all for the divine over here, man. I put my life on the line for this shit. Straight like that. I mean, this is for the devoted ones. And you know, and if you know, you know. You know, God, just like Job, man. You know what I'm saying? He's gonna, you're like, nigga, relax. Tell God I said relax, nigga. Watch me work. I told God that shit, man. You gonna do what, nigga? Watch me work, man. This is for all my fucking ancestors too, man. Listen, just like y'all did it, I'm only doing it because y'all did it. Fuck out of here. I love you motherfuckers, man. Listen, I mean, I always got to take, this is the time, I got to take the time now. And it's around that season too. It's around that time. Like I've been celebrating this shit for the past few years, nigga. And I'm only saying this shit on, whatever the fuck. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Because we'll be chilling with them. Like the party's crazy, man. Like right before, because I have experienced it in different times. So sometimes just around like November 1st, or sometimes too early in October, like October 15th, there's a whole fucking ceremonial shit that's taking place, you know what I'm saying, in other places. Right. You know what I'm saying, that I like to go to and celebrate with these niggas. Come on, man. I love them. I love them. I love you. Thank you for your protection. Thank you for the love. And just know I'm working for you motherfuckers. And everything I do here is a testimony to these motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying? I'm that walking testimony, man. I know my position. You know what I'm saying? We're making believers out of non-believers. It speaks for itself. I put my life for this shit. Get out of here, man. I'm that sacrificial lamb. I'm the devoted one. I already killed myself, man. You can't kill me twice, nigga. You know what I'm saying? We have a certain individual. Nah, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm already marked, nigga. You know what I'm saying? I'm the property of other people. And not your people. They work for me. That's how we ride on our enemies. But that's also the beauty of the journey. It's that transformation. It's oh man, find them. You know what I'm saying? So we're gonna live it here, man. So pretty much the whole idea here is for you to understand, just like we talked about the science of ignorance, to spot the shadow self as you're doing your shadow work. Especially, you are not in alignment. As you become in alignment, then you're gonna start to notice. I know for me, I had a personal experience too with my shadow. My first interaction with my shadow self, to be honest with you, I was taking a shower. And then as I was turning, whatever the fuck, and I'm like, oh shit. You know what I'm saying? Now we good, but that was my first, that was around the time I was doing my shadow work too. We're talking about 2013, bro. And I remember that experience vividly too. I was in the shower and I had that, and I was working on my shadow, and listen, the I guess he introduced himself to me, and that was the beginning of us, what I'm saying, signing the peace treaty, the love treaty, I should say. I'm like, oh, nigga, come here. What's up, dog? Let's talk about it. What's going on, man? Then we're like, okay, bam, 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 bam. Okay. So I'm helping you to spot it. And as you're doing that work, know what your physical manifestation is going to be like. Because that's going to have to take place too. Because again, you have to materialize all that shit, but it comes with a level of consciousness, whatever the fuck. So, and then that was the beginning of a love relationship. I'm like, man, come here, man. Stop saying, what? I did this to you? Come on, dog. Come here. I'll never treat you that way again. And when I tell this nigga, you know what? Do it even better. Show it to you. All day, every day, nigga. And since then, come on, man. This nigga been part of the light. We conscious together. We're in harmony. He's not afraid of the light anymore. This nigga, he's listen, he's everywhere. My ego, all that shit. These niggas like they on point. Listen, yo, that's how you activate. That's mm, I'm gonna save that one though. I'm not giving that one away yet. But you know. But those who knows, they know. Oh shit, my nigga. Got that shit on deck. Yeah, all right. You know what I'm saying? I ain't scared of you, nigga. You do you, I'ma do me. Yeah. Again, so before I get the hell out of here, man. Again, going back to my ancestors, I want to say I love you guys publicly, like I always say. But like this is, I think I'm taking this shit on a whole different level. Now, this type of commitment that you're seeing here, I mean, it's been, we've been doing this for quite a little bit of time, but now I'm taking that shit out, out in the open. So, listen, man. At certain level in life or in your whatever the fuck, right? It's only right. Like now, I just gotta take it public thing now. It's just. I mean, it grew that much. It's too much for me. I can't hold it no more. I cannot hold it no more. It's too much for me, man. Mm-mm. I'm gonna tell the whole world. But anyway, guys, just to summarize real quick, especially if you're doing your shadow work, this is about helping you to identify the different ways that it manifests itself. Because as you're doing the work, it's not gonna be, you gotta spot the motherfucker, right? Because you've been separated from him, and it's like he's no longer becoming that monster. He's becoming, what I'm saying, there's a process to it, and it's going to start showing itself in so many different ways as it always been. But now you didn't understand it was a conflicted shadow. But now, as you doing the shadow work now, you acknowledge them, and as you're doing so, imagine that monster now that's being reduced, and then you're gonna find that little baby. Am I being dramatic? Am I being dramatic? Hey, I mean, I watch a lot of movies, right? And then, that little monster now, when it turns around and you see it's a baby, and then you hug it. Come here. But what this is reflecting, this is a great depiction of your growth and you doing the shadow self. And you're dealing with that monster now that becomes the little baby. It only became a monster because nobody paid attention to him or to her. So, to the great listeners, this was for you. Once again, this is nothing but love. Haitien.